What's happening, y'all? It's theryanplummer here, and I'm bringing you the team builder for week 3 of the Pokemon Fight Club. So, we had a great win last week, a very close win. Could have gone either way, really. There was a couple of plays where, had I guessed wrong, the match could have swayed in a way different way, but we did come out with a win with a big differential, which is huge for us heading into into week 3 of the PFC. It's going to help us gain momentum, and we need to get as much momentum as we possibly can. I think we do. Honestly, I'm going to say we probably need to win out in order to win the league, but I'm fully prepared to do that, and I'm excited to see us perform throughout this season. The more I play with this team, the more I learn to love this team, and I'm really excited for this week, because this week we are playing against Tom and his team, which is Mega Venusaur, Rattatas, Chansey, Honchkrow, Donphan, Espeon, Jolteon, Durant, Omastar, Raticate, Armaldo, and Haunter. So this team, as we can see, is a very bulky team. Like the past few weeks that we faced, he's got a really good wall core with Mega Venusaur, Rattatas, and Chansey. Those are his first 3 pickups. You can tell he definitely wanted to focus on defense right off the bat, but that actually benefits us because all 3 of those are very slow, and we have some of the heaviest hitting mons in the game, including the first mon that I'm bringing, which is none other than Emboar. As you can see on the screen, Napoleon is back because, looking at his team, Napoleon has a great matchup against his team. On surface, it might not seem like it because of Mega Venusaur obviously has the thick fat, and Rattatas is a very bulky mon, but with this set that I'm bringing, Superpower will OHKO Chansey even with the Eviolite. Flare Blitz 2 KOs a defensive, max defense, bold Mega Venusaur. Wild Charge 2 KOs a max defense, bold, or careful, or calm, whatever it is, or whatever the special defensive nature is. That thing, or defensive, whatever it is, I forget. I can 2 KO Rattatas, basically what I'm trying to say. I think I'm either come close to 2 KOing Donphan, or do 2 KO Donphan with one of my moves, probably Superpower. And just hit everything on his team incredibly hard. I can basically 2 KO his entire team with this Emboar set, which is huge, because his team is so slow, and his team is primarily walls, primarily big walls, like Mega Venusaur, Rattatas, Chansey, and Donphan were 4 of his top 6 picks. He actually has a very slow team, which means with Emboar, with 212 speed investment, hitting that 219 speed, I'm going to be able to outspeed Rattatas, a defensive Rattatas, a defensive Chansey, I believe a defensive Donphan, a defensive Donphan, and I think a defensive Mega Venusaur, if he doesn't have any speed investment, which means if I predict the switch, I can speed creep them and 2 KO them, which would be awesome for me, because it's just going to help me break down that wall core, and once I start breaking down that wall core, his team is going to start breaking down, I think, fairly easily, because his offensive mons are very frail. They can't really take hits. Like Espeon and Jolteon don't want to take a hit, and even Honchkrow, in a sense, doesn't really want to take a hit. Durant, if you hit him with a fire-type move, he's flicking over, you know. And really, any move that's, I guess, neutral on Durant is going to hurt him a lot. Those are his main offensive mons. In regards to, like, Omastar, Raticate, Armaldo, Haunter, I don't think he'll bring any of those, but he could. We'll see. I mean, Omastar is he could hazard stack with Omastar. But anyway, that's besides the point. Let's focus on this team. Emboar is going to put in a ton of work, and Emboar is huge because it is the only thing I think on my team that I'm bringing that can OHKO Chansey, and that's huge because, as you'll see later, Chansey is a big part. Getting rid of Chansey is a big part of me winning. Second mon is none other than Mamoswine. I wanted to bring Mamoswine because I saw the Jolteon, and Jolteon is a great pick in RU. Honestly, I think it should be moved up. I think the GBA moved it to tier 3, which is like their UU tier, just because Jolteon is great in this format. It's a great momentum builder. He can pivot around with it, and it hits really hard from the special side. And it's fast enough that you can slap a choice specs on that and still outspeed. If he goes max speed Timid, he can outspeed my entire team except Crobat, which he speed ties with. So I expect to see probably a specs. He could bring a Scarf just to make sure he outspeeds Crobat, but I'm expecting a specs, and he's going to be able to hit really hard. So I felt like I had to bring Mamoswine this week to stop him from gaining momentum with a Volt Switch. If he gets momentum with Volt Switch, that's what's going to allow him to take out my offensive mons like Embor and gain momentum on me. I don't really want to do that, like allow him to do that, so I thought Mammoth was crucial. That's also why I decided to bring the Assault Vest, because then I can take any Hidden Power or Shadow Ball, anything that Jolteon wants to throw at me. It's not going to be a 2-hit KO on me, and I can force it out, or if he expects to kill, if he doesn't know I have the Assault Vest, something like that, I can kill the Jolteon, get rid of it. Jolteon's another kind of step in the process of me winning this week, is getting rid of that thing. I have Earthquake, Icicle Crash, obviously for stab damage, does a ton to his team. Hits everything really hard. Ice Shard for priority, that will come in really handy, especially against things like Espeon, Jolteon, and Honchkrow. His three big offensive threats are all very fast. Even Durant, if it's at very low health, I can kind of hit that. And then Knockoff this week, because he has that Chansey. Chansey could be a switch in, especially late game, to this Mamoswine. And I can knock off the Eviolite, which is huge, because if I knock off the Eviolite, then I believe Earthquake is a 2-hit KO on the Chansey, and I can 2-hit KO a Chansey with a couple of my other mons as well, which is huge this week. So that is why I am going to bring Mamoswine with the Assault Vest. With Adamant and 92 base speed, I'm going to be able to again outspeed all of his walls and 2-hit KO everything. I don't really need a lot of speed because I'm not going to outspeed Honchkrow, Espeon, or Jolteon at max speed Jolly anyway. So that allows me to bring Adamant and just bring a minimal amount of speed to be able to outspeed everything I need to and still have that bulk. I actually want to drop this down 1, and I guess throw some in defense, or special defense. Yeah, so Mamoswine is going to be big this week. Another thing the Assault Vest helps out with is that his team is not like very balanced in the sense that almost all of his threats are special. Aside from like Honchkrow, Donphan, and Durant are his 3 like big physical hitters, and they're not very powerful. Like typically you're going to use Donphan in a defensive role, although he has the ability to run it offensively because of his wall core. But typically it's going to be in a defensive role. Honchkrow is good. Honchkrow is good. That definitely patches up some of his weaknesses, but even Durant, like in a sense, can get hit really hard and struggle against teams. So Assault Vest is really the way to go over like a more defensive type of set, stuff like that. Next, you have none other than Crobat. Because he has that Omastar and that Donphan, I felt like defogging Crobat would be necessary this week, but I also wanted to bring Crobat to take on Mega Venusaur because it's a great Mega Venusaur check. Mega Venusaur can't touch Crobat, whereas Crobat, with the set that I'm running, Max Attack, Adamant, Life Orb, can 2-hit KO Mega Venusaur. I could have brought this thing to Speed Tie with Jolteon, but then I couldn't 2-hit KO Mega Venusaur with Brave Bird, unless I brought it like Banded, so I didn't really feel like there was a point to trying to Speed Tie the Jolteon. I'd rather just have a Jolteon switch in for that Electric type attack, which is Mamoswine. And you'll see too, I've got other stuff for Jolteon, so I didn't feel the need to do that. I figured he was going to bring it max speed anyway, max speed Timid. So I decided to go Adamant and have just enough speed to outspeed his Espeon, I believe. Yeah, Espeon. And be able to hit that thing with Brave Birds. Obviously, U-turn for momentum. This thing has been great this season for grabbing me momentum, especially when the opponent thinks a Brave Bird is coming. And then Roost to just get health back from the Life Orb damage and Brave Bird damage against things like Mega Venusaur, which can't touch me, you know, Chansey. I can Roost up. Stuff like that. Even Donphan, in a sense, with that Ice Shard isn't going to be doing a ton to me, although it does kind of hurt. I can kind of Roost up against some of those mons, and get rid of the hazard should he decide to bring Omastar and stack hazards early on. Did not want to have to deal with that, so that's why I'm bringing Crobat. I think it's going to put in a lot of work this match. Next is Mew. Of course I'm bringing Mew. Mew is a monster and can do anything I really need it to do. And this week I want it to be a physical wall to just make sure I shut down things like Honchkrow, Donphan, and Durant. Obviously, I think he's going to bring at least 1 or 2 of those, and Mew can kind of handle them. If I can get the Will-O-Wisp on anything, that'd be huge. This is also a great knockoff switch-in. Ironically, even though Mew is a Psychic type with the Colbur Berry defensive, it can take hits very well. Like if I can also get them burn off on Mega Venusaur or like a Rotom Wash and start wearing it down, that would be nice. I brought Mew with knockoff this week because Chansey is sometimes, you know, might be a good switch into Mew if he doesn't know the set. And I can knock off the Eviolite, which again is huge for me in sweeping. And then I needed a Stealth Rock setter, and I didn't want to put Stealth Rocks on Mammothon because I had the Assault Vest, so I decided to bring Mew. Stealth Rock setter is going to wear down his team. It's going to make the Honchkrow not want to come in. He can't Volt Switch around and gain momentum as well as I'm sure he would like to do. And then obviously Restore Sustainability. I'm actually especially defensive nature, though it's going to allow me to live hits better from certain mons depending on which ones they are. So Mew, I expected to put in a decent amount of work this week, and just be a good pivot, a good defensive mon in general. Next mon bring is Zeus, my Thunderous Incarnate. This is my late game sweeper. I'm really excited for this Thunderous set, something that I found, because I was looking at his team, and this Thunderous could really sweep his team up well. It hits everything on his team really hard, and can break his walls down really well, other than Chansey. Chansey is the only thing, I think even at +6, I'm not 2-KOing it with some of my moves. I'm not sure though, and I can take 2 Seismic Tosses before it's going to kill me, and that's even after Rocks damage, so if I need to do that against Chansey, I can. Like I said, if I knock the Eviolite off, then I think at +4, I think I can 2-KO it with Thunderbolt. So the reason I have Nasty Plot is for that. Thunderbolt for basically everything, and then Psychic for everything that doesn't get hit by Thunderbolt. And Psychic for Mega Venusaur mainly too. And then my last move is a move I'm really excited to use, which is Roleplay. So the move Roleplay is something that, while I was looking at Thunderous, I noticed the 2 things that were stopping Thunderous from sweeping were Chansey and Jolteon. And I figured putting something like a Focus Blast on Thunderous really wasn't going to help that much against Chansey. It still wasn't going to do a whole lot, so I wanted to look into the Thunderous's move pool to see ways that I could beat Jolteon. And I stumbled upon this move Roleplay, where the user replaces its ability with the target's. So what that means is, if the Jolteon comes in, because Jolteon's an obvious switch into Thunderous, it's immune to Thunderbolt and it's faster, so you can either Volt Switch out or Thunderbolt to kill me. And if I'm at low health, Jolteon's an easy switch in. After I get 1 kill, it can come in and just force me out. So Roleplay, with the Prankster ability, Roleplay is going to go first. I get that increased priority. I'm going to steal the Volt Absorb from the Jolteon as he goes for that Electric type move. Hopefully he'll be choiced. I'm thinking he will be. And if he is choiced, then he's going to be locked in that Electric type move. I'm going to get health back, and at +2, a Psychic will kill the Jolteon. And I don't think Hidden Power Ice is a 2-KO. I'm not exactly sure on that, but I'm pretty sure he'll be choice locked into whatever he goes for. So ideal situation, I go into Thunderous on something like the Rotom Wash. He switches out, not wanting to take the Thunderbolt. I get the Nasty Plot up. As he switches into Jolteon, I do the Roleplay to get the Volt Absorb, get any health back I'm going to lose from Rocks or whatever, and then from there I can just sweep his entire team after Chansey's gone. Or the Eviolite is knocked off with Chansey. Even the Donphan Ice Shard doesn't 2-KO me with this set that I'm running. So Thunderous is going to be awesome, and I'm super excited. I really hope I get to use that Roleplay move against his team. Thunderous is going to hopefully pick up 3 or 4 kills towards the end of the match, is my goal. And last but not least, making its debut to the Pokemon Fight Club is none other than Lantern Illuminaqua. Now, I wish I could take credit for that nickname. I found it online, but I could not pass up on this nickname. I think it's an awesome nickname, Illuminaqua. But Lantern is going to be big this week. It's another thing to stop that Jolteon from just spamming Volt Switch on my team, because I do think he'll bring that, and it allows me to absorb Thunder Waves from Chansey, and heal any status he tries to pass with Mega Venusaur or Rotom Wash, anything like that. And it's also going to stop Volt Switches from Rotom Wash as well. It can sit in on Rotom Wash, and Rotom Wash is not going to want to get worn down by the Toxic, which I am bringing, and can't really do much to me. Hydro Pump is like the only move, and that's doing nothing. With Illuminaqua, Volt Switch is going to be big for momentum, obviously. Once the Jolteon's gone, I can kind of spam Volt Switch and move around, unless he brings a Donphan, which is a threat. But Scald actually 2-KOs Jolteon, and if he's not defensive, I believe... If he's not specially defensive, I believe Scald can 2-KO Donphan or do a lot of damage to it. If I get the burn, I think, then it can 2-KO. And just kind of force the Donphan to not really do a whole lot. So if the Jolteon's in, I'm hitting Scald first before I decide to Volt Switch. I don't want to like Volt Switch and then have him get health back and then switch into something else. So I'd rather just hit Scald right away, either get rid of the Jolteon or put a ton of damage on the Donphan after rocks, and if I get the Burn, then it'll definitely kill. If he has any, like, a bit of prior damage off Scald, it's a 2-hit KO as well. Like I said, I can speed creep a defensive Donphan, actually, with this Lantern, because, like I said, his team is very slow. I can speed creep that, and I outspeed, something else, I don't remember what. But Toxic is going to allow me to wear down things like Rod and Wash, things like the Donphan, the Jolteon, anything that's basically not Espeon, and Mega Venusaur. Obviously Chansey is not going to matter, but I can Volt out to gain momentum if I think he's going to switch into something, which is going to be huge this match. And yes, I don't have any recovery, but he can't really hit me too hard. Reason I'm going max special defense, Calm Nature, is because like I said, his team is very specially offensive. He doesn't have a whole lot of physical threats, and none of those physical threats can really take me on that well. Durant doesn't want to switch into a Scald or take a Scald and possibly get a Burn. Donphan can't really switch into me, like I said, if he's not especially defensive. And then Honchkrow can't do a ton to me and doesn't want to take a Volt Switch. So I can really just wall his... I can take hits better from his specially offensive mons, like Espeon, like Jolteon, Roddenwash, Mega Venusaur. Jolteon's doing nothing with Hidden Power Grass or Hidden Power Ground, whatever he decides to bring on that. So that's going to allow me to take hits a lot better. So that's my team. I'm really excited for this week. I think we're going to do well. I think he's going to bring his top 3, his Mega Wall Core, with Mega Venusaur, Roddenwash, and Chansey. I do think he'll bring all 3 of those, just because they work very well together and kind of wall my team well. I do think he'll probably bring Honchkrow. I think he kind of needs it. I think he'll bring it as like a Mew counter, maybe with like Taunt, something like that. And then it can match up well with my team. I think he'll bring either Donphan or Espeon, depending on what he wants to do. If he thinks I'm going to set up like Hazard Stack or something like that, he'll bring Donphan probably. But Espeon's a good way with that Magic Bounce to kind of work around that. And then I definitely think he'll bring Jolteon as his last mon for that momentum and just kind of pivoting around. He could bring the Durant or the Omastar. I could see either of those coming in place of like the Donphan or the Honchkrow. Durant to kind of hit harder, and Omastar to possibly Hazard Stack in the beginning if he doesn't think I'm going to bring Crobat or one of my Defoggers, something like that. We'll see what he wants to do with that. I don't see Raticate, Armaldo, or Haunter coming. Haunter does nothing this match because I don't really have a Rapid Spinner. Armaldo can spin away rocks, but I don't think he needs it to do that. I mean, I'm not sure why he grabbed Armaldo when he has a Donphan. They do very similar things, just Donphan does them better. And then Eradicate was another questionable pick. I'm not sure why he drafted that, but I'm sure he has his reasons. I don't see it coming this week, though. So that's his team. I'm really excited to face off against Tomastar, and see if we can keep this momentum going. So if you like the video, leave a like, subscribe for more of the Pokemon Fight Club, and wish me luck as we head into this next week. If he has a YouTube channel, I don't know if he does, I'll ask him, but I'll link the channel in the description. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys when we get to the battle.